This technology is whooping me tonight, man. Say, man, without a shadow of a doubt, it's the greatest show in social media history. I want to welcome you to the war zone. The devil a lie tonight. We gonna get it in tonight. But what we got to talk about. So I want to say what's up to my co-host Donovan Sadiq, the Queen Jamaica K, and tonight it's Finance 101 with Walter Coulter. But before we get to Walter, Nick Cannon, we coming, mate. I'm coming. I know that much. I'm coming for you. So if you got sensitive ears, because I know Jada and Will made your panties moist. So if you got sensitive ears, I'm gonna shock you with Nick Cannon, mate. Hey man, I want to welcome you to the War Zone. It's the Crunker Show in social media history. I want to say what's going on. Y'all forgive us for the technology issues, but it's what it is, man. I'm fresh off the plane in Minneapolis. I'm back in the building and got some work to do. So, hold on a second. Hold on. Okay, there we go. Yeah, fresh off the plane, man. And you know, I couldn't even get off the plane before the drama started. Before the Texas drama started, somebody wanted me to get on a conference call with Jawbone. And I say, who is you to tell the OG what he need to do? And bottom line, man, I'm not talking to no suckers, man. I don't want to have no conversation with you. I don't want to have nothing to do with you. Well, you're disrespectful. I keep telling y'all. I'm a beer drinking, cigarette smoking, disrespectful. I keep telling you. So if you're trying to change me, that's like trying to turn a hoe into a housewife. It ain't gonna happen. It just ain't gonna happen. So I'm gonna turn it over to the queen and she gonna get it crunk. What's going on?
Woo-wee. Sound like that was some drama. So anyway, hello to everybody. Welcome to Thursday night edition of the War Zone, where, as Gary said, we are going to talk about Nick Cannon, and in a little bit, Walter is going to join us, Finance 101. And so I want to just give a disclaimer to some of you, like, Gary said, who may be a little bit sensitive, or some people who feel like we're distracted and we got bigger fish to fry and all that. I just want to say this might not be the conversation for you, at least the first half anyway, because we are going to talk about it whether you like it or not. Also, I'd like to say, I should say his name, but I'm not. People are so much in their feelings to where somebody...
Say the punk name.
You want me to say his name?
I got your back. Say the punk name.
I'm not scared. Well, maybe y'all know him. Maybe y'all can send him a message. His name was James Yates. James Yates inboxed me early this morning and told me basically we're distracted and this, that, and the other. So we kind of had a little bit of back and forth. I kind of ended toward him saying, I had a piece of somebody's body part in my mouth. This also himself. He sent me a picture of his thing. I thought it was a thumb at first. I didn't really know what it was, but he deleted it really quick and then he blocked me. So I guess I'm saying all that to say is,
you know what kills me? What the fuck are we distracted from? Let's get something straight. If Walter ain't got 100 people in this class for Saturday, we ain't distracted. You are. Distracted from what? The revolution, the black revolution, or the one you don't attend? The one that's been televised for the last 6 months and you ain't attended? Man, we ain't distracted. And whoever this cat is, man, you better stay hiding behind a computer.
Yeah. Walter, you got a lot of wind in your microphone.
Oh, let me shut my windows.
Yeah, muted. Thank you. So anyway, so that's all I want to say to y'all. If you're feeling some type of way about the stuff we're saying tonight or whatever, just keep scrolling until you find something that you like. Okay. So anyway, let's get into it. We're going to talk about Nick Cannon. So for those of you guys who've lived under a rock in the last 2 days, Nick Cannon has been trending all over the place. he had some things to say about the Jewish community that just, went haywire. And since then, and we're going to play the video in just a second, but since then, Nick Cannon has lost his couple of his shows. Viacom, who's this big giant media conglomerate, let him go. He sat on he was the chair of Nickelodeon. He, is the owner of Wild 'N Out, which he said they stole from him. We'll get into that in a little bit. And so I actually want to play you guys the video of what he actually said. That way we don't jumble his words or any of that kind of stuff. So Gary, yes, whenever you're ready, let me go ahead.
Person that has the lack of pigment, the lack of melanin, that they know that they will be annihilated. So therefore, however they got the power, they have the lack of compassion. That melanin comes with compassion. Melanin comes with soul. That we call it soul. We soul brothers and sisters. That's the melanin that connects us. So the people that don't have it are a little, and I'm gonna say this carefully, are a little less. And where the term actually comes from, because I'm bringing it all the way back around to Minister Farrakhan, to where they may not have the compassion or the when they were sent to the mountains of Caucasus, when they didn't have the power of the sun, that the sun then started to deteriorate them. So then they're acting out of fear. They're acting out of low self-esteem. They're acting out of a deficiency. So therefore, the only way that they can act is evil. The only way they have to rob, steal, rape, kill, and fight or flight in order to survive. Exactly. So then these people who didn't have what we had, and when I say we, I speak of the melanated people. Right. They had to be savages. They had to be barbaric. Because they're in these Nordic mountains, they're in these rough torrential environments. So they're acting as animals. Right. So they're the ones that are actually closer to animals. They're the ones that are actually the true savages.
Amazing dancer.
I appreciate it.
All right, so you guys saw a snippet of what everybody else saw and what everybody else, because the interview was actually about an hour and something long. I actually watched it. Didn't, think anything of it when I watched it a couple of weeks ago. It should be said that the video with him and Professor Griff came out, I think it was like June 28th, 29th or something like that. Somebody got wind of it and it went crazy. Basically, a lot of people in the Jewish community were asking for Nick Cannon to be canceled. Why haven't you canceled? You canceled Roseanne Barr, and she didn't say it's things that were as bad as what Nick said about Jewish people. And, so Viacom let him go. Then they were calling for Fox to let him go because that's where the Masked Singer is. And then, of course, he has the radio show out here, 106. And so they were asking for him to be, just jobless. And so it is said that Fox, because at first Nick Cannon was like, I'm not apologizing. I said what I said. Now I'm paraphrasing, but that's pretty much what he said. And so Fox News said, in order for you to keep your job, and this is what they're saying, you need to apologize. And so he came back and he apologized. And I want you guys to see this apology really quick. Gary, give me a moment. And I want to go through this because I want to be, very careful that we not mix words. All right, so go ahead and share it. Okay, there it is. So he says, first and foremost, I extend my deepest and most sincere apology to my Jewish sisters and brothers for the hurtful and divisive words that came out of my mouth during my interview with Richard Griffin, which is Professor Griff. They reinforce the worst stereotypes of a proud and magnificent people, and I feel ashamed of the uninformed and naive place that these words came from. The video of this interview has since been removed. While the Jewish experience encompasses more than 5,000 years, and there's so much I have yet to learn, I have had at least a minor history lesson over the past few days, and to say that it is eye-opening would be a vast understatement. I want to express my gratitude to the rabbis, community leaders, and institutions who reached out to me to help enlighten me instead of chastising me. I want to assure my Jewish friends, new and old, that this is only the beginning of my education. I am committed to deeper connections and more profound learning and strengthening the bond between our two cultures today and every day going forward. Okay? Whew. All right, so obviously a lot of other stuff has happened in between then, but I just wanted you guys to see it for yourself so that it's not us actually twisting the words. And before I give the floor over to Gary, Walter, and Donovan, I wanted to say that what Nick was attempting to do was to articulate that of the late Dr. Frances Cress Welsing, the ISIS papers, and where she talks about how white people are in fear of genetic annihilation. And so that's really what he was trying to do. But unfortunately, I think what he was trying to say got lost in the sauce, if you will, and it was just kind of all over the place. Hence, he finds himself in trouble. This is a very good read, but it's a hard read. Well, Dr. Frances Cress Welsing breaks down what Nick was trying to say. And so, Gary, I'll give it to you.
Armand Clemens, you say you can get this over to Nick, get it over to Nick. Words are like bullets. Once you shoot them, you can't take them back. That's why I'm very careful with what I say, because I ain't taking it back. How dare whoever the establishment is, the Jewish community, the white community, be offended by anything that Nick said? When you check that clown on Pennsylvania Avenue, for all the shit that he says that's anti-black, then I'll have a problem with Nick. When you check these politicians that's on the fucking news every day with all this fly shit they saying about black people, I'll have a problem with Nick. When you decide you want to teach my children their actual history, I'll have a problem with Nick. Republican, Democrat or not, your people bump their mouth every fucking day. Obama was niggas, he was monkeys, his wife was a monkey, and you motherfuckers wasn't canceled. Say, man, Nick, let me tell you what you were. Fuck Viacom, fuck Revolt. Bruh, you were too raw for MTV, and at one moment, you were too black for BET. And if you can't handle us being black, then shut your motherfucking mouth on a daily basis, because we get to hear too much of your racism every fucking day. Every single day we gotta hear it. Every day. I challenge you people, whoever you people may be, teach us our history in school. You have far more problems. You keep hiding our history, but it's slowly sneaking out. Am I Nick Cannon? Hell no. I'm Gary W. Monroe. I don't take shit back. I said what I said in the beginning, and I'm going to keep saying it.
For help,
when you check Trump for the shit that he say on a daily fucking basis, then I'll check Nick Cannon. Until then, kiss my ass.
All I consider that is ditto. Again, welcome to the show. This is the best show on the internet, best conversation, and this is what I like about the show, because we bring it real right to you, unapologetically. We don't care if you like it or not. I'm getting tired of them telling us how we're supposed to react, how we're supposed to feel, or whatever. Because when Trump said this, well, what he really meant to say was, okay, what Nick said is what he really meant to say was, and it's going to go on and on and on. But hope you guys got a pen today. We're doing some financial education. I got my pen. I'm going to be taking notes. I hope you guys are going to do the same.
What I'm going to say is this here. You create your own wealth. That's why Walter's on this show. When you create your own wealth, you don't have to worry about a motherfucker taking nothing from you. You get to say and do what the fuck you want to do. You get to say and do what you want to do. Now, me, I don't study Jewish history. Let's get that straight. I don't know what went on with y'all. I dabble in black history. But I know y'all won't tell me about it. You ain't been telling me about it for 52 years. You've been hiding it from me, so I got to slowly just get bits and pieces. And every time I get bits and pieces, I get more and more angry. You really think that no matter what our history may be or what we may feel, that we're not gonna say nothing? You motherfuckers don't get to run your mouth every day and think we gonna keep quiet. Whether he was right or wrong, he lives in the United States of America. He has freedom of speech, or did you just write that shit for y'all? Because every time we got something to say that's racial, we got to lose our jobs. It's got to be this here. But when the highest motherfucker in the land can get on TV every fucking day and say something against black people, you find a reason to cover that shit up. Nick, fuck Revolt. You got enough money to start your own shit. Start your own shit, bro. That's how I feel. Like I say, I don't study Jewish history. I don't know nothing about it. I just know that a black man said something in America and somebody say he can't say it. I'm the black man that fought for the Constitution too, to have the right to say what the fuck I want to say. As I said, Demetri, maybe you can clarify this. Did they write the Constitution for all of us, or is it true what my history says? We were slaves when you wrote it, and it wasn't written for us in the first place.
Well, as part of the Constitution that was written for us, it was the 13th, 14th, and the 15th amendments that deal with slavery and, some sort of rights to vote and all of that. But that's about it. That's about it. But no, you're absolutely right. The Constitution was not designed for the benefit of black people. It still is not designed for the benefit of black people. There's a lot of things in the Constitution that still goes against us to this day. One of them is the 13th Amendment, which abolished slavery except for that of imprisonment. And we know that black people disproportionately make up the prison population. There's more black people in prison than there are of anybody else. And so I don't know what you would call it, but I would call it slavery, right? And then last night we kind of talked about the convict leasing program, which was another form of slavery that took place in the Jim Crow era. So yeah, the Constitution wasn't really designed for us. So
well, I believe that in my heart. I mean, I'm not stupid. You're not stupid. You know what I'm saying? Donovan and Walter not stupid. What year did they sign it? What year did they write it? What's America's Independence Day?
Yeah, 1776.
And didn't we just celebrate Freedom Negro Day? That was 1864. Whatever you wrote prior to 1864 was not written for black people. Now, if you had an ideology about fixing your fucking problem with your literature, you'd go back and you'd tear that motherfucker up. And then you would write it for all the people. When you fully give me the right to vote and not have to make me, try to figure out every 25 years if it's going to happen, we can have a conversation. I can be pissed off at Nick. And this the last thing that'll make me pissed off at Nick. Tell Nick I said this here. If all you motherfuckers can stop apologizing right now across this country for the shit y'all been doing to us for the last few years, then I'll go against Nick. A whole bunch of y'all apologizing for this shit y'all been doing to us. Well, not us, because you ain't got the nuts to do it to me. Black, white, Jewish, Asian, gay, gay and lesbian. I bust all y'all head open if you disrespect me.
So yeah, right before we get to Walter, and to your point, Gary, is about people apologizing. Dwayne Wade, he came out in support of Nick Cannon, and then when they got on his head, they being white people and the people in the Jewish community, if you will, got on his head. He backtracked and said, "Oh well, I didn't know what I was saying. I was supportive of." But obviously I denounce hate speech. So he basically helped throw Nick under the bus. And I want to say this. Now, do I agree with Nick Cannon apologizing? No, I was kind of, disappointed that he did. But when I had a moment to reflect on him apologizing, you don't know why Nick apologized. Somebody made a good point and said, to me, it read more like a ransom letter than an apology. So you don't know what was on the line for Nick. Nick is worth about $60-70 million, so he's going to be okay. But you don't know what it was about for him. And then so for a lot of us to say, well, hell, I wouldn't apologize. Shit, I wouldn't have did it. Well, you can always get another Taco Bell job. You know what I mean? I'm not belittling what we do, but I'm saying he's got a lot at stake. And he's been, been offered a lot of the things Oprah which is unbelievable to me. Told him to come on over to the OWN network, bring Wild 'N Out over there. You guys all saw P. Diddy said, hey, come on home. Revolt TV is a black-owned station and all of that. And so I would just say, you don't know what Nick was facing. Because you think about the stuff that he did before. He walked off of America's Got Talent because they wanted to subjugate him then. Something he said, they wanted him to apologize, and I'm paraphrasing, but he was like, I'm not your nigga. I'm not going to bow down to you guys. And so he walked away from that. So I kind of think something else is going on, but also notice this. To me, Nick is going to be good until he denounces the minister. If he does that, then we're going to have a problem. But he hasn't done that so far.
Yeah, Nick didn't have no look America, white, black, Asian, whatever, America. The shit was said in June. Nick don't have a problem until he kicks it with the minister. You talk about the minister that you motherfuckers was begging to come out because the Negroes was tearing up all your cities? You talking about the minister you wanted to save your fuck ass? Say, man, come on, man. Y'all ain't trying to fix shit. You tried to ostracize that man, and I really want to say this here. Dwayne Wade, you a bitch. You a confused bitch. And honestly, what it came from Gabrielle, I'd have took it better. Because I take things better from a man than from a woman, Nick. I mean, Dwayne. Your wife is the man, punk.
The other thing, too, is Nick did speak out in support of Gabrielle Union when NBC was doing her dirty behind the natural hair thing. He, took one on the chin for her as well. And so I thought that was kind of jacked up for Dwayne, to throw Nick under the bus after Nick went to bat for Gabrielle Union. But the other thing I want to say this before we bring Walter to the conversation is this. If we as Black people, and I said this last night, if we as Black people were just as supportive of Nick as the Jewish community or white people are against Nick, then I think Nick would have been able to stand a little bit on, on a sound foundation and say, you know what, I got my peoples. I got my peoples with me, and I'm not apologizing. But if you look at how we did Kaepernick, we're just now all trying to get on the same page with Kaepernick. Kaepernick has been blackballed, or some people say whiteballed, since 2016. And now here you are, you have the NFL, Kaepernick was right, they ain't gave him no job. But look at all the Negroes that participated in the NFL when Kaepernick put everything on the line for Black people when he didn't have to. So I think if we as Black people got on the same page and stopped having this schism and say, all right, everybody, we're getting behind Nick, then I think he probably could have held on to that apology.
See, Cap is a little bit different than Nick because they so Cap got so much hatred for him. If they really wanted to fix Cap, they would have been put him. Once all this came out, George Floyd, they'd have gave Cap something. They not finna give Cap shit. And I'm just be real with y'all. If they wanted to fix the Kaepernick situation, that's an easy goddamn fix. Roger Goodell could give him a fucking job. He ain't got to work for no fucking team if he don't want to. But let me tell you something, man. This deep-rooted hatred that we scared to call out because we scared we gonna lose our car. We scared we gonna lose our job. And I get it why Nick had to apologize. I know why you apologize, Nick. Armand, if you're gonna get it to him, I'm gonna look in your eye, Nick, and tell you why you had to apologize. Because you decided, even though it's deeper than the 40-40-40 plan, you bought into the 40-40-40 plan. When you made your millions, why you didn't go off and work for your goddamn self? You kept working for them, Nick. And now you in bed with them financially. And to save whatever money that you had on them guaranteed contracts, that now they got that loophole and that clause in there, you went and wrote the apology. So for that, if I can rock with you, I can tell you when you're wrong. For writing the apology, you a bitch too.
Well, hello there, Sally. Walter, how you doing, man? How you doing?
Sometimes I need to be entertained and I need to be educated. Damn, I was taking notes. I'm just like my phone. I just got started.
Well, we want to bring you into the conversation and give us some of that financial wisdom that you do every week. So we want you, from all that you've heard, and not even jump in, because I know you work the comment section, but we like to hear your lovely voice as well. From all that you heard us say, what is your initial take on it, and then how do we as Black people come up from under having to bite our tongue because we're scared we're going to lose a job or something?
Jeez, there's a whole lot of questions. Somebody said to me once, I don't have to look for a job if I can create one. So sometimes I'm unsympathetic, not unsympathetic. What's the word I'm looking for? I'm not really attached to having a job because I've never really had a job as a grown man. I know it's necessary, but like I've always done my own thing, so I don't know what it's. And in the times that I've used work for somebody else under their network, I've lost.
I'm sorry, close your window because you have a wind coming in the window.
Oh, really? You can hear that? How is that? Okay, good. So I don't do well with silence. So I think, Nick is on the right track. I mean, sometimes, and I'm going to say this and no disrespect to Nick, you ever watch Roots and Chicken George? Remember Chicken George? He would just, hey, everything is good. That's kind of sometimes how we as Black people get. If we get too comfortable letting other people take care of us and they accept us, you end up like Chicken George, and then you find out, oh, nigga, you still a slave. Like, you can enjoy your life, but as long as somebody else is in control of it, you're going to come up short. And those of you who know me know I'm pretty integrated. I mean, I have every single race either around me or in my family. So I just think we have to understand who we are. Like, for instance, if I wrote, and I've taken some notes when you guys were talking, I wrote, if you have power, you don't have to talk about it. You just use it, right? Michael Jackson, by far, is the best entertainer that's ever walked this planet. Period. I remember watching him do the Super Bowl. Remember the Super Bowl show when James Earl Jones introduced him? By far, that was one of the best moments in entertainment. Even they cut him off. Cut him off. Remember he said, bite me, kite me, that he was talking about them robbing him, right? So until you have your own stuff, you're never going to have true power. So I think what Nick is dealing with right now, and I was surprised to see him doing this. He was with Griff. That was Professor Griff, right? That was a big.
I knew he was gonna get in trouble fucking with Griff, man.
I mean, when Griff called, he knew it was over. So in my opinion, Nick made a decision to go with his Blackness when he accepted to do the show with Griff, because you can't even say Farrakhan as a Black leader. I remember Barack Obama, them grilling him, won't you denounce him? And he finally denounced him. And then it was like, okay, Obama, we're going to let you be president. So until you have true power, it's always going to be that way. And one thing, people, me, and if you've spoken to me, I think money is power. People say that it's not, but it is. you know, and it's unfortunate. Actually, no, let me do this. Let me go through all my comments, and then I'll get back to some of the money. So Nick Khan, he was talking about Black Hebrews, right?
Mm-hmm.
What other race doesn't believe that their God is their color? Just think about it. Like, I go to a Catholic church. Okay, maybe the Catholic Church and Mexican people, they got white people up there sometimes, but I think they get the point. We all believe that God is our color, right? Why wouldn't he be? So for him to say that we're the original Black Hebrews is true.
But why is it always a goddamn problem when we say it?
Because we don't follow our own advice. Like right now, this is cool. Like I can watch this podcast and be like, oh, I'm motivated, I'm fired up. But what am I going to do tomorrow about it, though? Am I still doing the same old thing? You know what I'm saying? Am I still rocking the $1,500 hair hat? Am I still rolling the $800 car payment that I can't afford? Do you understand, like right now with this damn stimulus package, that people are getting $1,000 a week that used to make $700? And that's getting ready to change in a couple of weeks, by the way. So we have all this, like, everybody in the United States who can prove that they were self-employed and lost their job or whatever is getting a $600 check plus the state check. Some of us are getting $1,000 a month to stay our asses home and aren't doing anything with it. So, and then when something happens with like Nick, we should, like Black people, and somebody said, oh, BET, like we should boycott that. And I thought, you know what, we don't even have enough power to do that. Like, I heard KRS-One, and he came here to, not to my crib, but to Riverside. He said, BET is bullshit entertainment network. And I was like, okay, this brother knows what he's talking about. We need to, like, if Black people can just say, you know what, we're out. We're going to invest with ourselves. We're going to shut it down. What that means is you're not going to have, you know, sometimes you're not going to be able to wear the Nike or the Calvin Klein or whatever. You have to give up some of that stuff. But do you realize that we as Black people, we make Nike sexy? I had lunch or dinner with Michael Jordan and Larry Miller. He runs Brand Jordan. This was in Minnesota. And I was like, dude, you're in control of like the biggest shoe company in the world. And he was like, yeah, you know what? I am. We are the biggest. And I went on to talk finances, and Mike, he just had too many women around him, so he wasn't hearing what I was saying. But like, if Michael Jordan came out with a new shoe, or like Kanye, or the Sean Carter, the Yeezy is Reebok's. Not what is it? What's Sean's shoe? Jay-Z. The Sean Carter was the #1 shoe for Reebok. You know what I'm talking about? So
I thought you were talking about Adidas Yeezy.
Well, no, I'm talking about well, Yeezy, and then I switched to Jay-Z when he came out with the Sean Carter for Reebok. That was one of the most popular shoes. You guys, if we don't do it first, it's not popular. We need to just start. We have everything else in place. The only thing Black people we are missing is our money. That's the only thing. Like if the four of us got together, we each put in $1,000 and we started our own network. And we just talked about, we don't have to come from a racial end, but we just talk about Black power. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, here's what we guys do. And we don't have to, and here's what I think we need to do. And I think this is going to be tough for Black people. We have to kind of start treating ourselves as an equal. Because we talk about Black power, but earlier I said, if you have power, you don't need to talk about it.
An equal to who?
I'm sorry?
An equal to who?
No, so what I'm saying is, like, we are already at the top of the food chain, but we always talk about like Black power and this and that because we want like equal rights, right? Like think about Martin Luther King. What was that all about? Equal rights. If you understand
what's the underlying issue? What's the underlying issue that's stopping us from having equal rights? Now tell me if I get this wrong, because y'all the three smartest on this program.
Okay.
It's the goddamn Constitution.
True. The Constitution.
The rules that we are governed by. were not written for us. Therefore, it can never mean that we will be equal. You have to tear them motherfuckers up and you have to write them for everybody. But they're not going to do that.
Right. Well,
let me say this before you go. So the Constitution is yeah, I say that's part of it, but it's us having no knowledge of self. Because my good friend Jonelle that's on here, he always says, you protect what you love, right? We have no love of self, we have no knowledge of self. You protect what you love. And if we truly love, I'm not talking about like I love me, right? I love me. But if we loved each other like us as a people, we wouldn't continue giving away 97% of $1.3 trillion. So also where there's no money, there's no power. So they can, like you said, Gary, they can rewrite the Constitution all they want. But as long as we have no knowledge of self, no love of self, we keep giving our economic power away, it's not going to matter.
well, yeah.
I get that part with knowledge of self. I'm living in a world every day where I'm governed by fucking rules that were written back in the 1700s. Hold on a second. Excuse me. Cover your ears, Demetri. Cover your ears. Even pussy get old. So the rules that I live by were written in the 1700s. They wasn't written for me. They wasn't written for people that look like me.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So I mean, when you look at how they fandangle these laws and all this shit, you know, when it come down to the money, and we can really start getting to the money, they gonna move the goalposts because they control the rules. But I get what you're saying, though.
That's true. So let me backtrack a little bit. P. Diddy offered Nick a job. Oprah offered Nick a job. Now, I don't always feel the strongest about P or Oprah, but like the fact that they are able to do that is kind of a good thing because that shows that we have power. I know Oprah has her agenda and all that.
She got Oprah too.
She got some Candace Owens in her.
No, she got some Jeffrey Epstein in her. Fuck Oprah too.
Well, yeah, and maybe Jeffrey probably up in there too, but we have to start somewhere. Like, for instance, you know when I feel the best about myself?
Okay, so that means you contradicting yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Now, what I mean by that, you're talking to us. You're talking to all these people watching. You're trying to teach us how to build our own shit. Nick got more money than all of us. Go build your own shit, Nick. Stop working for them people. I'm gonna be honest, I can't do corporate America, Walter. You know why? My mouth too fly. I ain't gonna keep the job for 10 minutes. Because as soon as you get to talking crazy, I'm checking your ass. So rather than work for them, or black owned, white owned, whatever, I'd rather work for me. Because I'm gonna put up with my shit the way I'm gonna put up with my shit.
Well, that's true. So I guess we have to look at what Nick's goals are. Because so while we're on the subject of money, it depends on what your goals are. It's kind of like, do you think like Byron Allen has enough money? Did Bill Cosby have enough money? You know, these guys haven't. Does P. Diddy have enough money? Yes. But for them, I think it's for something else. Yeah, Nick is worth $60 million. He can do whatever he wants. But maybe for them, it's not necessarily a dollar amount. Maybe it's getting to a certain power amount. Like if you look at like the Morgans and the Pierpots and the Carnegies, they, even though they were rich, they still were always chasing something. So maybe we need to figure out what it is. Like if you look at Nick, because he can chill with 70 million, he could disappear. But he has other things that he wants to get done. And I don't like it that he apologized, but like sometimes I think we need to learn, like, I don't want to say how to get along, but like when you're trying to get up to a certain level, like me, there's certain things that I would do if I didn't worry about pissing off my clients. Right? There's things I can say to my clients, they would be like, oh shit, that's the same dude. Right? So there's things that I want to do, but you have to be able to afford that. And you have to be able to, they have to be in line with your goals. So the whole thing with Nick, and I know he's getting mad criticism, like, and I feel for the dude, right? Because I'm sure he's a pretty good guy. But like at the end of the day, we need to get behind him because believe it or not, I never looked at Nick Cannon as a Black Power leader. But like far as I can see right now, Nick's in front, right? Like, where's P. Diddy? He offered him a job, but like P has way more money than Nick, right? Name one Black leader right now that's in the fire like Nick is right now, like Cap was.
Let me say something real quick because I see the comment section going crazy, and I think we need to listen to understand because you know what? A lot of people are saying, you know, well, we've been assimilating this, that, the other, and we gonna keep assimilating and shutting the fuck up when it comes to white people until we get our own shit. Because if we all four of us had a company, we can hire our own people to come in there and they could say we could get it crunk and jiggy and, you know, we'll do all that stuff we want to do because we peoples, right? But anytime you want to walk up into the white man's job, you're going to do what the white man say. So that's why I said it sounds really good and nice and cute for us to say, well, I wouldn't apologize. And I was being funny, but I'm dead serious. You don't have as much to lose as Nick has to lose. You're going to be able to get another Walmart job or, you know, Kmart, whatever. So I get it. I get it. I'm not one that's simulated. That's why I don't punch a clock. Because I'm like you, Gary. I don't like people telling me what to do or when I can go on break and to vacation and all of that. But I think the point that needs to be made here is if we get on our square and build our own businesses and stop seeking for everybody else to validate us financially, then we'll be able to have a little bit more freedom. It's just the truth.
Let me say this here. Maybe I might get this wrong. Chappelle ain't apologized. He got more money than Nick. He told them fuck them. They network, and he went and hung out with y'all people in Africa.
I love Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle,
when he came back, they gave him more money.
But he did it after he got financially independent. It's different.
Well, I mean, goddamn, if I can come up on 300 G's, I'll be all right. Nick got 60 million.
So here's what happened with Dave Chappelle, because Dave Chappelle has a special. We got the Mark Twain Award on Netflix. You need to watch that. It's a good piece. He goes through the whole history, and they all talk about Dave. He got his money first, and then money buys you power. He told Comedy Central, "Fuck you" to the 50 million because he was liquid. He was loaded.
Okay, but when you are making stupid ass financial moves, Nick, spending $1 million on some fucking tennis shoes, how much money did you fuck off?
Well, that's his problem too. That's the other thing. You know,
Nick got money. First of all, I'm gonna tell you like this here. No matter what would come up, if I knew if it was a black moment that would come up sooner or later, that Nick would have to play corporate. Because anytime you start off with Nickelodeon, you already know what it is, homie. You can't come through the Nickelodeon office acting like you're Ice Cube. They ain't putting up with it.
Right.
I'm just saying, dog, that at the end of the day, we ain't finna get, you know, I understand what Demetri said, and you know, he gotta do what he gotta do, and Nick and a whole bunch of people got their motherfucking head bust open, so you can buck the system right now, boy. Look, if you're messing with Griff, you're gonna have a problem. If you're hanging with the minister, Nick, you're gonna have a problem. So, what's your next move? Are you going to denounce the minister? You're gonna have a Jesus moment? You're gonna deny him? I said it before, and I say it again. I don't wear the suit and the ties every day. I don't wear the bow ties, but I ain't denouncing a motherfucking thing.
I'm gonna say this before we give the floor back over to Walter. Yes, a lot of people did die so Nick could be where he's at. But I think the other part of the story is we ain't dealing with that type of those type of soldiers anymore. Those people didn't mind walking to work for over a year.
But tell him stay out the front of the fucking George Floyd line like he's a real soldier. Because sooner or later, you're going to have to go to war.
Well, you know what? This is me personally. I don't have a problem with Nick because Nick, it's the same thing like with Kaepernick. Neither one of them had to do what they did. They're comfortable. They can go off and live a nice life in a gated community and eat caviar, whatever they eat at that level. And he could have not have said a word. But Nick is out there putting it on the line, just like Kaepernick. And the unfortunate part about them two doing what they did, they're not dealing with the type of black people that they were dealing with in the 60s that didn't mind walking to work for a whole year and not catching a white bus system that would have them sit in the back. So they're dealing with two different breed of revolutionaries, if you will. Walter, go ahead.
See, okay. You guys, I'm going to say this as politically correct as I can. You have to be ready. And I read some of the comments, and lately I've been on social media more than I should be. Black people, we are not ready for this power, period. We have the power. We're not ready for it. Like, I was talking to somebody today, and we were talking about black people and black people getting better. And I'm like, we're not ready yet. Like, we have the floor. We have the whole world saying, black people, what do you want from us? Here's the money. We're going to give you the money. Every corporation damn near is giving money to the black power, giving money to the NAACP. Man, I got into an elevator with a lady in Vegas, and she got damn near nailed to me. She was like, okay, like it was weird. But like when people see me now, they're different. And they're almost apologetic. So like we have that now. What are we doing with it? We're still blowing our money. We still don't own shit. My conversation with black people, 9 out of 10 times is I'm walking them out of niggerdom. I'm like, are we really having a conversation about you saving 20% of your income? You ain't gonna never be rich. You ain't gonna never have shit if you can't save 20% of your income. I don't care how that makes you feel, but at the end of the day, if your kid dies and you pass the bucket to do a GoFundMe, you fucked up. And that's the way it is. And black people, we will go to church and the minister will talk to you like I'm talking to you right now. This, that, and we get out and we rush our ass straight to the Korean nail shop and go right to the fried chicken place. And everything the preacher talked about, that emotion is gone. So we need to get real about what we really want. Like I was talking to my neighbor, right? He's got a brand new car. And I got an old Range Rover. My car's 12 years old, my Range Rover. I want a new Range Rover. I want to get in a black Range Rover with white interior that smells brand new. And I want to see how a woman feels when she gets in my shit. But I would rather have the money and make sure my kids and grandkids have a stable future so they don't have to bow down to somebody. So until you get to that point, like Dee talked about people marching and like, what was that, 1955? I think it was December 1st, my birthday, when Rosa said,
I don't mean to cut you off. Nisha has a huge problem with you saying. She's talking about you. This is your white side and all that. Let me say something to you, Nisha.
My rich side.
He said that's his rich side. It ain't his white side. But it's a shame that when people trying to give you the game is talking down on black people, because I saw your other comment, oh, you're talking down on black people. Listen, the truth ain't always pretty. We can't always give you the vitamins in the applesauce. Sometimes you're going to have to get it without the applesauce. You're going to have to get a straight no chaser. And just like Walter said, the minister don't talk pretty either. And that's what's wrong with Negroes. We want people to lullaby us and stroke us on the, oh, this is going to be all right. Now, sometimes we are out of time. Do you know we are about almost less than 12 years to being a goddamn slave again? And you want people to sit up here and tell you fairy tales? Well, we ain't telling fairy tales tonight. We telling it like it is tonight.
And first of all, just for the people on this podcast, like my oldest son is named after Khalid Muhammad. Like my father used to work on Khalid Muhammad's car. Minister Farrakhan had a 325 BMW. We worked on it. So I know I've spent time with these dudes. I named my kids after these dudes. I know these guys. And you know what the conversation was like? The one I'm having with you is the one they had with us. It's the way, like, if you listen to my father talk, who was like extreme Muslim, this is the conversations he's having. He's like, we need to get our shit together, period. So, like, you can say what you want to say, but like, until we start saving our money, we are not going to have no power.
We must have a lot of wax in our ears because, you know, the Honorable Elijah Muhammad, then Malcolm come through the door, then the minister. Wise motherfuckers ain't listening. Why they ain't listening? Why they ain't doing it?
Because they want the vitamins in the applesauce. That's why. And that's what's wrong with Negroes nowadays. We don't want the truth. We want it to be dressed up. We like to listen. I always say this, Donovan, and you a little bit too quiet tonight, goddammit. What do I say? We like symbolism. Black people like symbolism. That's why me and Donovan read an article today that said Black women are proud that they are putting Joe Biden into the White House. Joe Biden is whooping Donald Trump to the tune of 15% in a lot of polls, and Black women are taking the credit for that. And if you ask any of those Black women who are taking credit for that, oh, we need to get rid of Donald Trump. Okay, you're getting rid of Donald Trump, and what are you getting when you get Biden? I don't know. You're getting symbolism. You ain't even getting no hard. You're getting symbolism. And so that's what's wrong with us as Black people. We like it to be shiny. We don't care if it's real gold. We just like it to look good. We don't want the truth. That's why people are not listening. And somebody said, how much money is in our bank account? Don't worry about what's in our bank account. You ain't Samuel L. Jackson. Worry about what's in your wallet.
Well, I tell you what we really need to worry about is why is it that a Black man can give you the game on the finance side and your black ass ain't signed up for the class yet? Well, and then you want us to keep coming up with these goddamn plans to save Black people.
Well, here's the deal. You know, you guys, and I get this shit all the time. People say, oh, you acting like you white. Like, first of all, do you understand how much, like, power we have and how much gold is in Africa and how much resources is in Africa? Do you know where the Chinese people are right now? Africa. Why? So, and I get this criticism. Like, when I used to live, we would go to South Central LA. My father owned a shop on Flormedy and Normandy. Florence and Normandy, called Your Auto Service. I saw drive-by shootings. I saw everything. But one thing that my parents did is they educated us. Like, my father, he would always talk about doing better and our race. And so what happens is I learned how to speak English properly. I learned finance. I learned how to communicate and deal with all people. But when I would come back to the summer to my cousins, and they'd be like, oh, you sound like a white dude. I'm like, first of all, I've never spoken an African language. I've never been to Africa. So, like, I'm speaking a language so I can, like, get my people ahead. I had somebody tell me on the phone the other day, oh, I thought you were white. Why? Because I speak proper English, and we as Black people should be offended by that. Like, if I knew African or Swahili, I could speak that language. I don't. I've never been to Africa, and I want to go, but, like, don't judge me because I've learned to deal with what's in front of me. Like, we as Black people, like, we are still begging. The fact that we are still talking about Nick Cannon because he wanted to speak up for our people is madness. And we as Black people need to do better than this. And we're not going to ever have shit until we get our money straight. Like Malcolm X and Claude Anderson, those two, like, Malcolm X is by far one of my favorite people in the world because he was right in this. And we killed Malcolm X, not them. We killed him, period. And you, in my opinion, like, Martin got it started, but he realized he made a mistake. Malcolm was there, and we took him out. So we need to focus on that. And I can tell you guys this, my bills are paid. I don't worry about money anymore. And when I was swinging this swing low shit, I was worried about money all the time. Look at the look on Donovan's face. He ain't worried about shit. How many of you would spend 20 years in the military dodging bullets or at the risk of it to buy your freedom like that? Sometimes we need to put in the work. And I'll tell you, having your stuff together financially is peace of mind, which is what I wanted to talk about tonight, is building your credits. Don't get me started. People
Yes, let's get to the money.
Yeah,
Let's get to the money.
I have a Muslim father. Don't get it confused, because I'm like, I just learned how to deal with all people at once. That's all, right? So I want to talk about building your credit, because right now, you guys, we have the greatest economic opportunity to get rich and to build your credit, and we are missing it. Number one, so for those of you who are taking notes, I wanted to talk about credit. There's a couple things. One, there is what's called the FICO score. And then there's two, there's what's called a Vantage score. Some of you guys are on Credit Karma and some of these internet websites, and they're giving you a credit score. That is not your credit score. Your credit score comes directly from Experian. You understand what I'm saying? So somebody was like, oh, my credit score is 720, but when they went to get a car loan, it was 620. No, because the closer you are to the credit bureau, the higher your score is, the better your score is. So when you go on Credit Karma, that's not your score. Go to Experian.com or have a mortgage broker, or when you go to buy a car, when they run your credit, you have the biggest score. How do you build your credit? One, and you guys, believe it or not, knowledge is power if you use it. What I've been telling everybody, and I'm going to tell you guys for free, because I want to do a class on credit building the proper way, but some of you guys have grandmas, uncles, aunts, friends, neighbors, cousins who have perfect credit and have credit cards for 15, 20 years, and they got perfect credit, and they can put you on their credit, not give you the card because you'll blow it up, which is why your credit is the way it is. And that's the way it is. People say, oh, the bank did me dirty. No, they didn't. You did you dirty. Your credit report is messed up because you messed it up, period. So if you think you can do better, you can rebuild. So like, for instance, you can have, let's say you're dating somebody with good credit. They can put you on their credit cards, and it will rate, if the credit card or whatever it is in good standing, it will build your credit, and it will do it quick. There's websites, I'm not going to give you the name because I don't know if I can legally talk about it, but there are websites where you can pay $200, $300, $400, $500. Perfect strangers will put you on their credit card and add it to your credit report and build your credit, right? So there's things like that you can do. So you have to work on your credit. A lot of us are paying people to fix our credit. The best way to deal with negative credit is to add positive credit. You know what? You ever been in a relationship? You come home a little bit too late. You know what I'm saying? And in the morning you make breakfast and you bring flowers and everything is good. You wash, you clean all the whole house. That buy you something. So you can add good stuff to your bad credit. As far as credit repair, a lot of you guys are paying $200-$300 a month or $100 a month. The best way to improve your credit is to add stuff. What I tell people, for those of you who are taking notes, is Google secured credit cards. There's Capital One, Citi, Orchard Bank. There's First Premier. Well, you can send them $500, $1,000, $3,000, and they'll give you a credit line against that, and then that will go on your credit report. So here's what I did with Kanye West. I'm not going to tell you the bank and put his credit and stuff out there, but like, we went to a bank, and I said, dude, in my opinion, you're going to be one of the greatest rappers of all time. And so me and him, we walked into a bank in LA, and we gave them $100,000. And I said, I need a line of credit against this $100,000. So we opened up a secured line with our own money. You could do this with 200. You could do it with 100,000. You could do it with $1 million. And they gave us a line of credit for the $100,000. And then we took that money and we kept using that bank statement to get American Express, this company, that company. Before you knew it, we had lines of credit everywhere. And it was just that quick that we did it. You understand what I'm saying? So that is what you need to do. You can walk into Wells Fargo, who's getting their asses kicked, by the way. And I have 1 million stock options with Wells Fargo. So I'm begging every day the stock market opens up that they come up with something new, right? Anyways, the stock option class on Saturday is going to be fun because I'm going to go into the specific stocks that I own and why. So we're going to get down that night. But I enjoy, and I get excited when I talk about stocks at the moment. So anyways, long story short, you guys, when you're building your credit, add to your credit. Like some of you guys, like we're not paying our stuff on time, you guys, and I know my credit was jacked up for some time. I know what it's like to want to hit the casino and not pay my bills, or to take a chick out and go spend $200 and not pay one of my bills. I know I've done that. I know what it's like. But sooner or later, you have to shut it down, right? And Gary, you said something when we off the podcast. Remind me, I saw a joke I want to tell you. I ain't gonna do it on this thing because it's a little vulgar. But like, some of us need to worry about ourselves first. So when it comes to building your credit, have somebody add you. Number one. Two, you can call your credit companies and say, hey, you know what? I made a mistake. Are you willing to take that mark off? Some of them will. Here's another thing you guys can do, and I'm gonna say this cautiously. A lot of the banks are offering 0% credit cards for 18 months, right? This is only for the brave and the people that are going to follow through. Like Chase says, you can have $20,000 for 18 months at 0%, but we want it back. What if you bought something, even that would earn you 4%, used it, and then gave it back to them after you earn your 4%? Wouldn't that not be 4% on 20 grand you didn't own? Do you see what I'm saying? So when it comes to, you can do this with all kinds of stuff, you guys. Another thing I like to talk about is pooling our assets. And I'm not going to go into specifics, but even the four of us sitting right here, could we not put $10,000 together tonight? Donovan, I know you can. Gary, right, D, I know everything about you financially, so I know we can put 10 grand together tonight and start a business. Could we not?
Yeah, do you need my credit card? That's one credit card. There you go.
Right? So we can start, you guys, you know what? Why don't you, instead of this bullshit in the comments, why don't you give us a business we can, okay, tonight I got 2,500. I'll put up 2,500. What can we start? Because every time somebody call me, I'm like, what business can we start? I don't want to hear about your family emergencies and all the crazy shit that don't make money. Where can I put my money? And let's do it as a group. Because if we own, right now, you guys, I don't know if you realize, we have our own network, our own TV station right now. Unless StreamYard get to tripping, right? There's nothing stopping us from saying or doing whatever we want on this network. Zero. Why don't we use it though? So, and we can start that by building your credit. Some of you guys are paying these credit consumer companies, and they're charging you, okay, these credit counseling companies is a scam. They are screwing you. Stop messing with them. You owe $4,000 on a credit card and they're going to negotiate for you. So you pay them for 2 years, and then in 2 years, what they do is they then settle the debt for you after your credit's been murdered. And then they end up giving them 40% of the deal when you could have just said, you know what? I'm going to wait 60 days and I'm going to give you 40%. I do this all the time with clients. Stop paying these companies. You guys, Black people, we are getting robbed by these companies, these credit consumer counseling. I saw this one company that used to work above me when I was at American Express called Christian Credit Counseling. I said, you are robbing people in the name of Jesus. You mean you got a $4,000 credit card and you paid $3,800 to them to settle your bill? Anyways, I'm not going to get started on religion because I would get hate mail all day. But and even in the Bible, the number one subject was what? What did they talk about in the Bible? Money. Jesus flipped over the tables in the temple. Right? He gave one dude 1 dude 5, one dude 10 talents. And what did he do to the dude that didn't flip the money? How many times do we need to hear this? You guys, Black people, and I'm talking right now, I'm talking to our people, right? And by the way, you guys, there's nothing wrong with Bank of America. You guys we need to stop doing that. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, People say, oh, Wells Fargo did me dirty. No, they did not. If you read when you open an account, they give you all the rules. And if Wells Fargo does you dirty, you can sue them and win. Bank of America, they're not dirty. They're doing what they said they're going to do, and that is to make money. Here's what you guys can do for homework. Study J.P. Morgan, Pierpont, Andrew Carnegie. All these guys, they all were in steel and oil and art, but do you know where they ended up? Finance. Do you realize that J.P. Morgan was not a bank? American Express used to deliver mail. Hence American Express gets your shit to you in an express way. Wells and Fargo started American Express. On top of that, Stagecoach is a black dude delivering mail. They are now a bank. All of them. Andrew Carnegie. Do you realize that Charles Schwab, and you guys need to understand your research. I don't care if these dudes are white, Puerto Rican, Haitian. Understand money. Charles Schwab goes to Andrew Carnegie, and Charles Schwab, by the way, is the biggest financial firm, one of the biggest firms. As a representative, goes to Carnegie as a rep for Morgan Chase and says, we will buy your company. And what do? Start a bank. So we need to get in finances, you guys, and start with your credit, start with protection, right? We talked about life insurance last week. I'm not going to do it right now. Start with building your credit. And some of you guys have money sitting in the bank earning zero. Maybe you could find somebody who's credit worthy and loan it to them at 10% or 12%, right? Some of these companies, and I had a client who was paying, I'm going to leave them nameless, but we were able to really help them, who were paying 65% interest on their money. And when I did the financial plan, they had hundreds of thousands of dollars sitting in another investment, but they didn't understand that they could get to it. And I said, that plan's not earning you 65, 70%. Why don't you use that? So this is some of the things you can do. And I see some of the comments, The Richest Man in Babylon. That was a good book. But are we using that information? Right? How many times do we have to hear it before we do something? Like right now, it's 6 o'clock where I'm at. It's 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock, whatever where you guys are at. When we hang up this podcast, how many of us are going to go back to doing what we were doing before this thing came on? For some of us, this is just entertainment. Period. That's all. And Susie Lemon is a piece of shit. I'm just saying, Al Jackson. She's selling tickets. She don't do none of that stuff that she. Do you really think Susie Orman has term insurance to protect her $100 million legacy? Come on, some of us have. No, I don't like Susie, but no. Dave Ramsey. Oh, I follow Dave. Really? When's the last time you talked to Dave on a podcast? You taking advice from a cat you never even met. So we have the power, you guys. And what's getting ready to happen with the stimulus is they're getting ready to change it. Black people, if you haven't got your unemployment, you can go right now and go back to February and get a check for every single week that you did not claim if it's coming to you. Period. They have the PPP program that's probably ending, or if it's not gone already, where they're giving us money to do stuff with. You guys, if your Experian credit report is halfway decent, SBA will give you up to 25, 40 grand with like 6 questions. Period. So some of you guys could get 15, 20, 30, 40,000, 50,000 bucks. And you can start your businesses, or you can just buy some time. Like I told the client today, she goes, oh, I got my stimulus check. What do I do? I said, turn off your phone, take 3 days off, go to a beach, drink pina coladas, and figure out what you want to do with your life. Period. So you guys, the government is giving everybody a check. Everybody's getting checks. I don't care what color you are. But what are we going to do with those? You guys, please stop with the swing low shit. Take the chariot and put a V8 in it and some big 20-inch tires with some fat rims and get the party started. Like begging, like the protesting is cool, right? But at what point do we start? Like I had a Filipino dude on my Facebook page, and I almost had to go to his house and punch him in the nose. He goes, "We don't protest." I go, "Okay, I'm gonna leave that subject alone." 1% of what he said was right. Like when you have money, you don't protest. I get it. But we as Black people are one of the few people that came here, if not the only people that came here against our will. Do you know what I'm saying? So, but now that we have people paying us, like I have a Black-owned business, right? Cornucope is my financial planning website, and my business. It's Black-owned. And there are people that are going to do business with me right now because I'm Black-owned. Period. And I'm going to take advantage of it. Period. Like right now, people are like, they're giving us the floor. But don't let our Black leaders, don't let them hijack this moment from us. Build your credit, number one. And if you guys have questions about it, you can YouTube Build Your Credit. There's a Black dude, his name is Mike. Oh, I can't remember his name, but he's on his stuff. And he has, he's approaching 1 million followers, and he goes over credit all the time. So you can YouTube how to build your credit. There's things you could do. But you need to start right now, because right now the Federal Reserve and the government, some of these things, they're changing the rules on us. And it's going to get tougher for Black people any day. Today is what, the 17th, 16th? 16th. At the end of the month, the rules are going to change. And they're going to go back to helping out the people, like the powers that be. And they're going to spread a little money to the everyday people, but we're going to get less. And some of you guys just missed your mark. And then I think, speaking of credit, what I want to talk about next week when I'm here is I want to talk about what to do with our housing, right? Some of us we have houses, or our parents and grandparents have houses and real estate, and we're not using them effectively. Next time I come on here, I can show you what to do with some of those assets that are just sitting there dead. Right now, we have a degree of power that we can use. And then when it comes, let's go back to Nick Cannon in closing. I don't know Nick's position, and some people have been hard with him because he's like apologizing. And I think, D, you said it right. Nick Cannon has millions of dollars a year on the table. I want you to put yourself in his spot. I'm walking away from, like Cap, I'm walking away from millions of dollars to back my people. Are they going to back me? Is it worth it for me to walk away from $10 million a year to protect my people? Are they going to protect me? That's what we need to be doing. And I think somebody on here talked about starting a Facebook. Well, what we ought to do is start our own Facebook group for tips and ideas, right? Or make sure that they're on here, right? Let's stop taking advice from people outside of the circle that aren't here to help the group. Does that make sense?
That makes sense. And I want to piggyback off of something you said. I think it's very courageous of people like Cap and Nick and all the other people that, we don't talk about, to put it on the line, especially after watching Brother Malcolm X die penniless. He died penniless with nothing, putting it on the line for Black people. And so I just think we as a people need to come together. I mean, I know, it's not popular, but we can't keep leaving, because we know white people gonna do what white people do. If one of us, not us, but Nick Cannon, somebody says something, they get out of line, they gonna put them out, put the noose around their neck, and it's gonna be a wrap. But we as Black people, we gotta stop allowing our brothers and sisters to be in the wind swinging and just walking away. We gotta be there to help take them down and say, you know what? I know that was rough, but we got your back. But as I always say, the revolution ain't making nobody money. I don't do this. I've not got one dime from anything that I've said or I've done in the since I've been on Facebook 4 or 5 years doing my show. I've not made one dime. I don't do this for money. But I think it comes a time when we have to just finally realize we got the people who are putting it on the line. Gary, you put it on the line. You know, and we talk about this a lot, how it'd be nice if you have a lot of people, all the people that's on these shows. I mean, we get thousands of views a night. Wouldn't it be nice at least half of those people showed up? And even if they just stood behind you and said, hey, I'm with you, Gary, just at the very minimum. So, you know, I just think we should stop asking our, you know, I don't want to say leaders, but people who are willing to sacrifice to put it on the line, and we walk away and say, well, let us know how that goes.
Yeah. You guys, we can do this. Right now, there's nothing in our way. I promise you. And I always tell people, if you have a question, you can inbox me, but come correct, though. I don't want to hear about excuses. I don't care if your cat died swinging on the pole at Albertsons. Get to the damn point. One thing that successful people do is they get to the point. You guys, kill the excuses. I don't want to hear that the bank screwed you or the company didn't report it right. Chances are, if something is wrong with your credit or your finances, it's your fault. Period. We need to start putting our money away. And I'm exhausted, actually, about talking about Black people saving money. Enough is enough. Like, you guys, we are, like Dee said, 12 years from being slaves. Do you know there are groups right now that are talking about that, like literally? Black people don't have enough power. Every time one of their leaders speaks out, we shoot him in the face. Nick Cannon, boom, move to the side. Bill Cosby, in jail. Russell Simmons.
Who put that motherfucker in charge of the military, man?
I mean, Donovan's a military dude. Like, and
I'm just saying, no. First of all, and no shade to Nick, but I don't see Gary Monroe following Nick Cannon no motherfucking well. Who put him in charge of the Black Army? These motherfuckers just showing up on their own, and the real soldiers don't nobody want to follow them, but they'll follow them motherfuckers and go get arrested on the man yard because somebody got shot. So you think you did some big shit by getting some handcuffs put on your ignorant ass?
Here's
it
the
doesn't
thing.
accomplish anything.
The people with
not mad at y'all. You feel me? Not mad at y'all.
No, the people that are willing to speak out need to have more money. That's what it is. Money is power. Those when I got custody of my kids, I had a poster on over my couch from Al Capone. What was it? What's his name? Not Al Capone. What's the actor? Scarface. Shit. Al Pacino is sitting on the couch with cocaine laid out, and behind him it says, "In this country, first you get the money, then you get the power, then you get the women." And DJ Quick changed it up a little bit. Everybody says, get the money. You can go to Carnegie Hall when they open up and go watch a play. Do you realize that Andrew Carnegie was a conniving businessman of a thief? He started rumors and he robbed and stole, and he told his employees, I don't care if you die every day, I'm cutting your wages. Do you know what he did with the second half of his life? Gave away the money, opened museums and things like that. And he only put his name on 5% of the stuff he gave away. But when you hear Andrew Carnegie's name, what do you think about right now? Philanthropy. He gave up this. The library, the Getty Museum, J. Paul Getty, he was in art, started the J. Paul Getty Museum here in California. He has two. But these guys were ruthless businessmen before that. So the Christians on this podcast, you can relate to this. One of the biggest people in the Bible is what? Paul? Am I right?
King Solomon.
Well, who was Paul before he was Paul?
He was Saul. He was a Christian killer.
He was one of the biggest Christian killers in the Bible, but we follow him. He's one of the... So the point I'm making is sometimes, you guys, you just got to get the money. And money, is it everything? Yes. My kids will tell you. And my kids are finally starting to see, like, what I was trying to do is that if you get the money right, like, you can help your kids. I enjoy watching my kids grow. And we can all do this. Like what I tell my kids is, what do you want to do with your life? I got a little money put to the side. Tell me what you want. Anytime you're ready, just call me up. I got you. That's a good feeling, right? I know Dee helps her daughter. She got a business, and like, that's a good thing to be able to help your kids. And Donovan, in your case, the cat. Actually, you got kids too.
Donovan is actually one of the biggest philanthropic people I know. And Donovan doesn't talk about it a lot, but he's actually helped my daughter tremendously. He funded the t-shirt business she has completely.
That's cool.
And he took my daughter and myself to Africa.
That's cool.
And a whole host of other things that he does.
Yeah. And for a lot of people that don't know, I like to talk about it a lot. A young lady that I sponsored, she became a lawyer in DC, and I usually give about $10,000 away, $1,000 scholarships to help my people.
And that's a big deal. That's what we should be talking about. We should talk about that one day, like helping our people, because I know Donovan is real low key on his richness, but like that's a big deal, right? So anyways, you guys, I love being here. Like, I just hope that we get better at this. That's it. You guys, you know what would be cool as Black people is we were just as rich as we are strong, as we are emotional. And it can start right now. Everybody on this podcast right now, if you had, let's say you made $5,000 a month and you had 3 months sitting in the bank set aside for reserves, what would you do differently than you do now? How would you treat your kids? Do you realize we will say the meanest thing to the people we love the most over an argument over money? Period. I watch my parents fight over money and say shit to each other that no one should ever say over money, right? So anyways, I'm always here. I love talking to my people. I'm gonna support Nick wherever he goes. I'm gonna watch his shit. I haven't watched any of his shows, but you know, I'm more aware, so I'm gonna watch his stuff, right? If that's okay with you guys.
Leah says, what about economic workshops for children?
We got to get their parents together first, but yeah, I'm down with that. We should work with our kids, but like what they say, when you get on an airplane, grab your mask first. It's cool to educate my kids, but if I'm a wreck, I'm just gonna borrow their credit when I get older, or put my house in their name, or put my water bill in their name. I don't want to do that. That's ratchet. I want to empower myself while empowering my kids. Yeah, you should empower your kids, of course, but like the school system's not doing it. And the only way, in my opinion, to really get your kids going is teach them how to put away some money. My kids will tell you when they want something, I'm like, okay, great. What are you gonna do for it? And they think I'm a jerk. But like my daughter Brittany, she wanted a car. I didn't buy her a car. She saved up for it. And I've never seen somebody, their self-esteem raised. When she bought her own car, her self-esteem was like, she kind of talked to me crazy too, but like her self-esteem was, a matter of fact, Dee, we were in your kitchen and she brought like a stack of checks that I haven't even cashed these yet. I'm buying a car with these. I was like, okay. As far as I'm concerned, my job is done with you. That was power. You know what I'm saying? So that's how you help your kids, to show an example.
All right, so we got a class coming up. Gary's tired. He's probably got jet lag. Today is a travel day for him. So are we doing class this Saturday?
Yes. So class is going to start at 7 o'clock Houston, 5 o'clock Cali, which is then going to be 8 o'clock East Coast time. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to actually go over the E-Trade account, and I'm going to go over the stocks and how I pick them, and I'm going to show you how some of these things perform. And then I'm going to do that quick slideshow, but I'm going to keep it quick. So for those of you that missed the class, too damn bad. Like, because I had a lot of people says I didn't, and if you missed the class, okay, but like, just try and be there. And a lot of people have asked me if I could send the class over, or if I could send them the podcast. But is that really fair to me? Right? Can you ask your professor to resend the materials because you missed it? So just be there, you guys. There's a lot of stuff I want to be doing on a Saturday night. I can't even talk about it on this podcast. But like, I'm gonna do it. I'm gonna spend my time Friday night. I did this last time, and the female in my life was so pissed. She was hotter than fish grease that I was doing this thing on Saturday night. And I was like, you know what? At the end of the day, this is about my people. So, anyways.
So we'll provide the information. People are asking for the info. So I guess between Gary and Walter, you guys will provide the info on that day.
Well, here's how it works. So it's a $25 Cash App. If you want to put that on the screen really quick, they can see that. Or you can, I'm not friends with most of you, but you can, I can send you guys the Cash App. It's $25, which is like nothing. And we generally do the class for 2 hours. And we'll go through like how to build wealth using stock options. And you guys realize right now that Moderna has come out with the vaccine that they gave it to 45 people, and all 45 developed the antigen. Let me tell you guys what's getting ready to happen. And this happened 6 months before I thought it was. When they come out and say, we figured out a way to stop the virus. You get the virus, you come into the hospital, take a drink, take a shot, it's out of here. It's over financially. Some of us that have $5,000, $10,000 put in stock options, we're going to see our $5,000 go to $50,000. And you are forever going to be in an opportunity where you can have freedom. Because some of you guys are just $5,000, $10,000 away from even having saved to having freedom. I tell people I started my financial planning company with $1,000, a free website, typed up some advice, a merchant account, and that was a wrap.
All right. So what we need to do is, I guess, you guys will get the information. Gary, you want to close us out?
Being a revolutionary ain't easy. Because I got different ideologies than a lot of people that's out here. And I'll tell this to folks. One, I don't work with anybody. I work by myself because I don't have time to wait for you to show up. I hear you talking about you gonna show up, but you seem to never make it on time. Maybe it's your nigger clock. But I don't get mad at you for that. I just know everybody ain't built for war. A lot of people talk it, but everybody ain't built for war. Donovan, you've seen them. They be in basic training. They straight up killers. And you put them in combat, they freeze up. So I'm built differently. Now, do I care if I die broke? No. I got work to do. And I understand that the riches that I get from this game is when I see somebody satisfied with my work. Yeah, I would love to get 40 million for what I do. But when I see a special needs kid that want to hug me because he understands I just helped him, that's payment enough for me. That ain't for everybody though. I don't knock the ones that do what they do. But I at the end of the day, somebody got to fight this battle, man. Somebody got to fight it. So I'm going to do my part, and I'm going to do what I do every single day. If you want to support me, you support me. Because you supporting the war zone. You supporting, like here in Minnesota, or where he's going down there to finish building the organization. No, I'm building the organization because y'all sent me here. When you sent me here, you thought I was just coming to take pictures? You thought I was just coming to sit on a corner where they killed a nigga? No, I came to rebuild the hood. So if you want to support the war zone, you know what you got to do. You can go to the Cash App. You can give $1. Some people gave me $1, man. That made me tear up because I knew that might have been their last dollar. Some people gave me more than $1. When you give it to me, we're building something. See, for me to get them people to the table to talk to Walter so he can penetrate them, I got to speak to them in their language. And I got to make them understand.
Right, no.
All you give a damn about is going to the Gucci store. Well, you might need to listen to my man because he can probably get you that motherfucker 7 days a week. That ain't what I'm out here for. I'm just built different. You feel what I'm saying? I want to thank the good people like the Big Mama's Collections, the Damian Jones's podcast, Walter and his company. These are people, Marcus Guyton, who does all our animations and different things for us. Thank these people for believing in the war zone, because whether you give him money or your time, it's all the same. Your time is your money. Your time is your money. Thanks to Walter for taking time out to come and try to educate you. This is what we got to do, man. So for those that rock with me, 5-star, the reason I'm 5-star is simple. I fought many wars for my people. And I got them 5 stars because it was many days I was fighting by myself. I hear these motherfuckers talking like they down with me. But when it's time to really go to war, well, man, I don't think we ought to do it that way. Here come that punk. So, thing is, man, I'm in Minneapolis. If you want to donate to the cause, y'all know the cash out. Whatever you decide to send, man, I'm blessed. Say, man, it is what it is. And I thank not just Walter, but Demetra and Donovan. People are really amazed. I was talking to somebody today as soon as I got off the plane, and they were like, y'all must hang out together all the time. Y'all grew up together. I ain't never met them people in person. And nobody believes it. But we will meet. And I'm going to tell you something. If you keep missing this class that Walter doing, we'll all meet in Jamaica. Your black ass can stay at home. That's what you can do. Because ain't nobody finna keep doing this broke shit.
No, not Jamaica. Everybody goes there. Everybody goes to Jamaica. We're going back to the Seychelles.
We ain't gonna keep doing
it. We're going to the Seychelles.
Go there and find me a wife. You know what I'm saying? Like,
ain't nothing wrong with that. You might just find you one. But I think we got to change the way that we thinking, y'all, or you gonna get left behind. Walter, rock that class Saturday, and expect the call. We're supposed to connect on Monday. Expect that call, bro. Cause I ain't finna play this game. I need the vaccine. Cause all y'all gonna be running to get it with your Medicaid and everything else.
Yeah.
We get rich off your sick ass. Hey, man. I want to thank you for tuning in. Nick Cannon, get that bitch out your home, boy. You got enough money not to be the bitch for him. I want to thank my co-host, Donovan Sadiq, the Queen, Demetra K, and our in-house financial guru, Walter Coulter. And I am Mr. I don't give a the 5-star general. Until tomorrow night, I'll holler at you.
Peace.